stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. Who is able to make war with him?
Well, now you can tell we are really in for the apocalypse if I shaved my beard off and got ready to don my nuclear biological mask. But what we are seeing happen in reality is that the United States of America is gearing up for a 10-year, possibly a nuclear and a biological war. The President of the United States of America and the President to Ukraine within the last 7-day period signed a 10-year contract to constantly fund this war to take out Russia. There are plans that are circulating the internet that have been developed by intelligence officers. These plans point to a significant breaking up of Russia and a breaking up of China in ways that will completely delete these countries from our earth. The problem is that's sovereignty. And when you talk about destroying a country's sovereignty, those are the only things that China and Russia have both agreed on will, without a doubt, usher in a nuclear apocalypse. But Biden and Zelensky just signed a 10-year security agreement between the countries at the G7 summit. The document obliges or makes permanent the fact that Washington will support the Ukrainian armed forces on a long-term 10 to 20-year basis, including the transfer of new, never-before-seen on the battlefield, advanced technologies. At the same time, the publication noted that the agreement does contain new commitments and that NATO will be in the development of a deployment plan for moving troops, especially U.S. troops, to the front lines to directly confront Russia. Only high-level consultations and cooperations with Congress will take place if there is a repeat attack. Now, moving forward, I am telling you this right now because it's going to be important for you and your family to remember how things are going to play out as soon as you start to see the first domino fall. A top U.S. naval commander described a hellscape within the last week. This will be the response when China invades Taiwan. An interview with the Washington Post had the U.S. Navy Admiral Samuel Paparo, he's the chief of the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. He said that there are plans to deliver to China a severe consequence when facing hostile takeovers of Taiwan. He explained that China aims for a quick, decisive war to take Taiwan before a global response could be materialized. So what they're going to do instead is they're going to move your children, your tax money, your weapons outside of the USA into the Indo-Pacific, and they're going to leave them there ready at a moment's notice to try and deter China first, but then to react to China as soon as it happens. You see, if we move all of our troops to a Indo-Pacific command post, if we move them under a new agreement, they don't really stay U.S. troops. They're U.S. troops working under a U.S. Indo-Pacific command. So they are not reacting to homeland threats. And when they move your weapons away from the homeland, China knows where to attack. Russia knows where to attack. I'm not going to name names here, but I was just talking to a prominent YouTuber in the survival space, in the geopolitics space, and he said in his region, you can see with your own eyes the takeover of China nationals and immigrants into the country. Now, coming from Florida in the USA, I saw with my own eyes the Russian takeover of that region. You can do a little bit of searching for yourself just by using Google. Type in Russians in Florida. You see huge hubs. That isn't even to mention the operators, the military operators. Guys, these are special ops people that have come in through our open border. They come in without identification, and they will be here without identification. They are just waiting for a command to act. So they revealed these plans to deliver to China severe consequences. The role ensures by the next couple of years that the U.S. military and allies will be able to counter any Chinese aggression. China sees Taiwan as its own territory. And, something was said recently that, can you believe that we are basing our entire world, our entire economy on a semiconductor chip in Taiwan? We're basing our entire world on semiconductor chips right now, today. Look at NVIDIA stock. You can start to see it make sense. The U.S. strategy, which is named Hellscape, will involve deploying thousands of new drone ships, unmanned drones, and submarines around Taiwan in the first sign of Chinese movement. You think China is not going to say, okay, that was a U.S. drone that just took out our ship. Who do you think they're going to go after? Are they going to say, well, let's go after the manufacturer? No. Are they going to say, let's go after Taiwan instead? No. They're going to say, who deployed these ships? And it's going to point right to the USA. This will buy time, they say, for Taiwan and its regional allies to mount a large response. They stated the goal is to make Taiwan an unmanned hellscape, basically somewhere that is, you remember the olden days where we had what? We had mines, and we had bombs, and we had booby traps, and we had all these things across every battlefield, and people will die to them. You'll soon see fishermen out there just working the grounds, working the sea, boom, hit an unmanned drone, exploded. This is your near future. The details of the plan will remain classified, they say, but they have assured that it is feasible to deploy this. The Department of Defense has invested over $1 billion in what is called the Replicator program. This now draws on lessons in the Russian and Ukrainian war. They say that it focuses on drone and unmanned ship defenses, and the U.S. is providing significant defense for the region. Despite these efforts, they warn that it is uncertain if the Replicator program will be ready, but they are doing everything humanly possible to make it happen.